Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is my lion crooked? There we go. Welcome to Untangled. We are on episode, I don't know what number. And we're going to have some fun today. It's really good to be here with you guys. I'm so excited to chit chat. Um, how are you all doing? How is everybody? Um, Hello, Pamela. It's so good. I feel so I don't know. I have just such a zest for what's happening on the planet right now. Um the ahas and awarenesses that I continue to get. The connection between what we're going through right now on the planet and what happened millions of years ago, blowing my mind. So much I want to share with you guys today. I am leaving tomorrow to go on a little bit of a journey with Jesus, a little training, um, book writing journey. And so I wanted to share a little bit with you guys. If you're in my SOAR community, you do know what's been going on and what I'm about to step into and what I've been doing the last month. If you're not in my SOAR, I want to share a little bit with you today. Um, so today's Untangled episode is going to be what's been happening with me this past month with Jesus and my training with him, how it's connected to our evolution in human consciousness. Because the only thing I ever want to talk about is our evolution in consciousness. What are we doing here on the planet? Why did we come down here as souls? What is this all about? Let's peel it back. Let's remember what we're doing here. Let's stop buying into all of the fear and the doom and gloom and the deep programming that likes to take us down these rabbit holes. And let's break free a little bit. Let's continue to break free. And I am starting to notice some really profound connections between um, the evolution right now, what happened 5,000 years ago, what happened millions of years ago on the planet with humanity, the Bible, Jesus, sin, um, galactic beings, hybrid humans, Luciferian families, satanic rituals. I mean, I've been going down the rabbit hole. Like Jesus is like, watch this, watch this, watch this, look at this, watch this, look at these two things tie together. How about that? I'm like, what? Every day I'm just kind of like blown away by all these little dots that he's showing me and how they're all kind of connecting. Um, they're all connecting to uh, the evolution, our shift in consciousness, and yeah. So let's get started. Let's do this. Um, I want to remind you guys. I mean, this is just the beginning of so many teachings that are going to be coming through. But first and foremost, you know that the planet is inverted, and what that means is that what is good for us, we will be programmed to believe is bad for us. What is bad for us, we will be programmed to believe is good for us. If we are told that something is really bad, dark, negative, don't look at it. Typically, it's the opposite. When you start kind of really peeling back what's happening on the planet, we've been deeply taken over and controlled, right? And manipulated and massive mind control, deep programming. And the way that we are held in that deep controlled programming is by keeping us disconnected from truth, disconnected from God, disconnected from a clear, open, aligned truth of what is really real here. Okay. So that's the first thing you want to recognize. So how do you start looking around this planet and paying attention to what's inverted? Just pay attention to the things that really trigger people, right? Pay attention to things that are like absolutely immediate knee jerk reaction, like drinking your own urine, right? Um, Drinking your own urine. There's something that is absolutely like immediate knee-jerk reaction gross to it, right? You don't do it, it is horrible. Meanwhile, the inverted truth of that is that it's probably the best medicine that you could ever take. Truly, 100%. Okay. Another example would be Jesus. All right. You think about Jesus and there is this immediate knee jerk reaction, right? Because there is a deep programming around Jesus. If you invert it, flip it upside down, there is something profoundly powerful about Jesus, outside of the programming, outside of religion, right? The list goes on and on and on. You just start paying attention to what creates a knee jerk reaction in humanity, an absolute yes or no, right? And where did that yes or no come from? That's what we want to pay attention to. Where did the stories come from that I'm associating with that? And that's how you can start to really peel back the programming that humanity is in, is when we immediately knee jerk reaction respond to something without even thinking about it. It's just absolute truth. That's programming. There's no conversation. It just is. Well, why? Because a dot, dot, dot. And so when we start to look at what creates those triggers, why, that's where actual critical thinking happens. That's when you really start to peel back the layers of manipulation, mind control, and programming. That's when you really start to say to yourself, oh my God, holy cow. One of the greatest gifts of these really horrific things that happen on the planet, like 9/11, um, COVID, things like that, you start to recognize there can be, for many people on the planet, a knee-jerk reaction, an initial knee-jerk reaction response to it, right? The storyline. So with 9/11, it was like these terrorists came in and they did dot dot dot, right? And so we believe that. We're told that, we believe it. Come to find out, it was actually our government. And then same with COVID, right? So it's the same type of thing. This is running rampant all over our planet, right? And so number one is start to get more curious with where you have like a knee jerk reaction response to something, and just get, why am I just like knee jerk? Boom, this just is. Jesus is a very huge knee jerk reaction response. A lot of opinions, a lot of triggers, and it is so unfortunate. Literally, it's very, very unfortunate. But so I just want to throw that out there as I start to have a conversation around all of this. And I also want to start off by saying as well that I wrote a book called The Divine Design. It came out in 2022. It's all about the history of the planet and humanity. And it talks about how the planet is an experiment, and it is not a prison planet. It is an experiment where she, as a consciousness, chose to create this entire experience, all of it, to evolve into higher dimensional fields in a physical form. And so holding that awareness around what I'm about to share with you, that all of this is part of a story. It's all part of the game. And it's just another level or another layer of the game. Okay. So at least that's how I see everything. And it's very freeing. It's very freeing. So, really quickly, before I dive into what Jesus has been showing me this past month, I want to quickly just give you a backstory of like when I started working with Jesus. So, about 2 years ago, I was in a bathtub. I've shared this story, but I want to share it again. About 2 years ago, I was in a bathtub, and I was in my bathtub, not a random person's bathtub. I was in my bathtub, and I just had this strong desire to start working with Jesus. And I wanted him to train me. I wanted to learn more about his ways, how he lived on the planet. I wanted him to train me. And I remember thinking in the bath, I was like, I really don't want to pass from this lifetime without trying to get as close to how Jesus lived as possible. 2 years ago, I had no idea that I would be where I am today with my relationship with him. And right now, everything that he's been showing me and the ahas and the teachings that are going to be coming through all of this. Um, but I just said to him, like, yo, I want to learn from you. Like, I want to commit to just being a student of yours. And I'm able to connect and communicate fairly well with energies. And so I never had like a fear of like, how am I going to hear him? Or I don't know if I'm going to hear him, or how do I, it's like, it's just part of, I've just been able to do that for quite some time. Probably because it's one of the things I'm designed to do on this planet. So anyway, we start a little conversation. He's like, "All right, let's start." And so for the first couple of months, it was just me being aware that he was around. I didn't really know how to do it or what I was going to be doing. Um, and this was 2 years ago, right? So I just started chit chatting with him every once in a while. I got a picture where I could look at him, and anyway, it out a year and a half later, my relationship started building with him. Um, he started creating experiences in my life where I would um, experience certain miracles through him. Um, I don't want to go into my whole Jesus story because it's long and it's detailed, but he brought me to God. He showed me God in a way that I had never in my entire life experienced God. So I got this great opportunity to really understand God outside of me. And I started building and growing more closely connected to Jesus and an intimate relationship. And it wasn't until, a couple of months ago that I really started to read the Bible. I was curious what the Bible was all about. Um, I started going to church because I was curious. I was really wanting to dive into, everything in my life is about, like, I'm a scientist. Everything has to be about the evolution for me. Everything has to be about the evolution in consciousness. It's not about programming. It's not about a book. It's not about a religion. Everything through my eyes is about evolution. That's the only way that I see this entire existence. I can't see it any other way, right? It's like talking to like a really intense mathematician. And when he looks at the world, he sees it through the eyes of math, right? Like that's just how he does it. That's how I see everything. So as I started building this relationship with Jesus, I started realizing more and more like, wait, this man, I think he's really deeply connected to this evolution in some way. And then when I started experiencing him, becoming more intimate with him, understanding what he's capable of, what he does, the miracles that he offers, the peace that he brings in, the ability to heal. How and the way that his love, the way that he shows you God, like all these things, I was like, what the freak? I really started to like become more and more humble by this man and what he may actually be here for and how it's connected to this evolution. And it really expanded when I was going to Kenya. But so fast forward, I'm leaving a lot out, you guys, but fast forward to um, a couple of months ago, I got this hit to do a class, a 40-day class, 40 days of sitting with God. And I was absolutely not gonna do it. It's 40 days, that's way too long. I couldn't imagine sitting every single day. I thought I was gonna be exhausted. Anyway, we did the class, we just finished it on Sunday. And when I started that class, um, I'll also say that I knew I was gonna start writing in another book, and I just didn't know when, why, where, what, etcetera. And I knew I was gonna go into a deeper training with Jesus. I just didn't know when, why, where, what. I have no attachment to outcomes, and I have no expectation of time. I just am, trusting that everything's gonna unravel the way it's gonna unravel. So, right before we start the class no, right after we started the class, so a week after we started our 40-day class, which, by the way, was mind-blowing, this class, because it wasn't me, it was God. Once you get out of the way and you let God through, miracles happen. It's never about us. But the whole planet wants you to believe that it's all about you so that you can stay in pride, because pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, which we're going to talk about a little bit. And if we can stay in pride, it's all about me, 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 me. We stay disconnected from God. We get out of the way, we let go of our pride, we stop thinking it's all about us, we invite God in, we say, "God, take over, show me, show me, show me, show me, wow me." And then God starts to take over and brings you things that you never could have imagined in more significant ways than you could ever do. But God forbid we should put ourselves aside, right? No, I am all that is. I am dot dot dot. Like, okay, could that be an inversion? Could that be inverted to keep us from the actual highest aligned state? Maybe. Anyway, so God comes in August 5th. Never forget this day. August 5th, I'm at night and I'm laying in my bed and I just feel Jesus literally standing by my bed. I practically could feel his whole body. And I'm like, "Oh, hello." And he's like, "Start writing." And I'm like, "Okay." So I open up my computer, and I start journaling. And he's so loud, you guys. I can hear him so clearly. It's like it's like he's just standing in my bedroom talking. And he's like, "It's time. Um, we're it's time for you to begin your work with me." And he starts telling me and I knew this was it. Like, he's like, "If you're ready, it's time to do this." And I had no idea what he meant. No idea. But I knew that I've been waiting for this. I knew that I had been and I knew I was ready. So I start writing and writing and writing and writing. And I had a 40-day class with God. Jesus was there, but it was with God, Lauren. And we're gonna do more of them and more of them and more of them. And they're gonna blow your mind. They're gonna just be amazing. Anyway, so I'm writing and I'm recognizing, like, "Oh, this is it. Like, this is it. This is what I asked for 2 years ago that I didn't realize was what I was asking for." And he says, "There's 2 things I'm gonna require of you in right now." So, I have a trip planned tomorrow with some girlfriends to go to Italy for 10 days, and we're gonna play and do all kinds of stuff. And he says, "I have plans for you, after that trip." And, he says, "But in the next month, while you're preparing for that trip, I'm gonna be preparing you. I'm gonna be training you. You have to listen to me." And he said, "There are 2 things that you absolutely must do." There's so many other things he shared with me, but it's very personal, so I won't share it necessarily with you guys, although if you're in my SOAR community, I will be sharing all of this with you, more details, but it's pretty personal. Um, but what he said was 2 things you're gonna be practicing the next month with me. 1 is pride, and 2 is obedience. And so if you guys know me, if it's go time for me and it has to do with the evolution and consciousness and it has to do with teachings and understandings, I will go all in. I will commit my entire life to it. I will put everything aside and go full force. I mean, this is why I'm on the planet. So if I have Jesus saying to me, "It's go time," I'm all in. "What do you need me to do?" I'll do everything and anything. I will commit everything. I will say yes to all of it. And so he's like, pride is he's like, "I want you to pay attention every single day until you leave, um, around what you want and what I want. I want you to pay attention, Lori, to when you post something, if it's because you wanna post it or because I'm asking you to post it. I want you to pay attention to how you feel around things. Are you how what you need from people. Like are you doing this because you want to be seen? Are you saying these things to people because you want them to think you're smart? Like really fine tuning pride, right? Are you doing this because you want to sound smart? Like why are you doing everything you're doing, Lori? Really peeling apart why you do everything you do. Where is it stemming from? And so I started doing that. And I started recognizing like what is the reason for me doing this? What's the reason for me doing this? What's the reason? And really looking at how much is based on what I want to get back, how I want to be seen, how I want to be looked at. How do I want people to think I'm smart? Do I want people to think that I'm a teacher? Like, what is all that, right? What is this? Let's peel it apart. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm humble. I'm good. I'll do it. I'm the first to look at all that, right? Then the second thing he said is, I need you to be obedient. And like, which obedience people get really freaked out, especially if you like to be in control, um, and you're in you're in the frame of mind of like I am God, so I'm gonna make all the decisions. Um, Being obedient can be very, very triggering. I was there. But when Jesus said be obedient, I was 100% all in. I was like, you're going to be my teacher. I'm going to do everything you ask. And that's obedience, is really putting aside the fact that I think that I know how to do this, that I think that I know how to get me to where I need to go, that I think that I know what this evolution is all about, that I think that I know everything there is to know about my beliefs around the Bible and my beliefs around the galactic beings and my beliefs around the 5D and my belief. Like I'm the one that knows. I know everything, right? No. No, Lori, let everything burn down. Let every belief burn down. In fact, the more that you know, the less you know. You should recognize the more you know, the less you know. And we should be humbled by that. We should let our truths burn. We should let our beliefs burn. Right. And so when he's like, you need to listen, you need to follow. I'm like, okay, I'm in. So it started on the 5th. And every single day I started working with Jesus. I started feeling him all day. I started listening to the little ways in which he wanted me to see things. Why'd you post that? You forgot to just say, is this for the highest good, right? Um and I started noticing that he was bringing podcasts to me to listen to. He starts bringing me, um, he starts showing me uh, information this past month. My awareness a month ago and my awareness now is very, very different. So, and every night I've been journaling with him. I have pages and pages of journals with him. Because I'll tell you guys something. I was not a Jesus follower. I was not a God follower. I had a lot of beliefs around all this. And when Jesus started to come into my life, and I was like, what is this? I knew it had to do with the evolution, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how this was going to connect to the evolution and consciousness that we're in right now, the spiritual battle. I also didn't know how it was gonna connect to my book. If you've read my book, you're like, how are you gonna do this one, Lorie? How are you gonna connect these 2? Oh, oh, don't wait. Don't worry. They connect. They so connect. Mind-blowingly connect. So I'm kind of like, "Oh my god, is everything just gonna fall apart?" Like the book I wrote that I love, that I like will like it is like the holy grail of our foundation of evolution, like the history of this game. How is Jesus gonna connect with all of this? Like, right? So the last month, thank you, Jesus. He's just been showing me these things. And the way he shows me these things is I'll just be scrolling on YouTube, just kind of playing around on YouTube, and a video will pop up of something and I'll just start to watch it. It's not like I hear Jesus say, "You need to watch this video." By the way, Jesus also does. He's like a real master. Imagine you were training with like a real hardcore OG master, right? They don't tell you what they're teaching you. They don't. They don't say, "I'm now going to teach you about the Luciferian families. And I'm going to teach you how they're connected to Genesis and the 5D and all that." They don't, the teachers don't do that. Masters don't do that. Masters will show you something or have you start something. And then they'll give you, and then they'll drop something else, and then they'll drop something else. And then the next thing you know, if you're a good student, you're putting one, you're putting the pieces together. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, and you get it. Then the master's like, "Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo," right? You're like, oh, I got it. Um, and you realize what they were trying to show you. Okay, you guys. So I'm going to try to squeeze this together because I want to give you some takeaways. He's been showing me a lot about the deadly sins, the 7 deadly sins. He's been showing me how at the core of our foundational screw ups, mess ups, we have been indoctrinated into, programmed into, controlled into these behaviors that I will, just for the sake of speaking him, talk about them in the terms of sin, but we're not bad humans. We're programmed humans. It's not our fault. It's not our fault at all. But it's extremely important that we understand what's driving our behaviors and who's inundating us with this drive. And that it really is at the core of not only how humanity fell millions of years ago, which was basically desire, seduction, these 7 deadly sins we think of. I mean, the correlation between like Eve eating the apple, right? That's not what actually physically happened. That's a metaphor for temptation, which is what brought down and collapsed those ancient civilizations millions of years ago that were in the 5th dimension. They were tempted. And what has been happening for thousands of years on the planet here is temptation, which creates behaviors. And these temptations are these sins, these sinful ways, and they are what unequivocally pulls us from our divine connection to God. And how there are these Luciferian families that are these hybrids between these 4th dimensional galactic races and humans, and how they have been bred over and over again. There are these bloodlines, right, from thousands of years. So this started happening about 5,000 years ago. You could read a little bit about it in my book, but there are these families that have taken over the entire planet. and they are Luciferian in nature. They are dark in a way, right? They are motivated by these sinful behaviors, the seven deadly sins. And because they know the power of these, seven deadly sin type things, they know how to control humanity. They know where to put the little carrot so that we go, "Oh my god," you know? Um, "Let me try this. Let me taste this." Um, and so one of the th so he's been showing me this correlation and these connections between what happened millions of years ago when Earth was in a much higher vibrational state, when Lemuria and Atlantis was around, what caused the collapse or the fall, which was these temptations into new behaviors, new ways of being. So there was a Garden of Eden. It wasn't an actual physical Garden of Eden. That's a metaphor in Genesis. It was actually the fifth dimensional civilization. Then those people started to take bites out of the apple metaphor for temptation. Many reasons why. There's a huge, you could go down all these different rabbit holes, right? But that's what humanity started doing millions of years ago. And it took millions of years, and there was a collapse in the civilization. And then there was a massive cataclysmic flood because technology was overtaking the planet. Humanity's consciousness was not at a state where it could manage that technology, and they were going to be physically destroying the planet. And so there was a massive flood, cataclysmic of flood. Then you have in Genesis, the floods, right? And Noah builds this big ark and puts the animals on it, which is also a metaphor for the floods. So here you have in the beginning of the Bible, in Genesis, that what actually happened on the planet millions of years ago. It's just that in Genesis they use it as a metaphor, but it actually happened. So now we find ourselves in 2025 dealing with the aftermath of what essentially began around 5,000 years ago. And what we are truly battling right now on this planet is um, what I would consider Luciferian or demonic type energies, and they are real. It's not, you could say that it's humanity's shadow 100%, right? Um, But it is not. Tracy, thank you for that super chat. It is these demonic energies are not an aspect of us. They are a reflection of what we have done and what we continue to do. So it's the counterpart, it's the opposite to our light, right? Um, but a lot of people believe that demonic energies don't exist, that it's just a reflection of our own shadow. And, I think they're gonna be brutally surprised when they realize that this spiritual battle we are in right now is all about, the demonic energies, the Luciferian families that have run this planet, and, and the se the these I'm calling them the 7 deadly sins, right? But really these sins that, pull us into these behaviors that pull us from the divine, innate, ordained connection straight to God. And so what it really starts to boil down to right now is how do we begin to see what we're in, really see what we're in? Not just the, like, mind-blowing realizations of, the real dark satanic rituals that are happening or that kind of stuff, right? Which is, again, part of the Luciferian bloodlines, right? The satanic rituals, all of that is, humans that are playing out really, dark, sinful behaviors that you can see on the planet in our own lives. They're just not as drastic. And it is how an entire human collective has been programmed. It's why you are in so much suffering. It's why you are caught in all of your thoughts. It's why you feel a lot of why you feel the way you feel. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because necessarily you need to heal all kinds of trauma. That trauma that was done to you is from humans that were in suffering because of these demonic energies and families that have been controlling the planet, right? And so we start to peel it all back and look at it through this lens of mass control through families that have this like really intense Luciferian bloodlines, which is really dark, dark energies based on sinful behaviors that we play in ourselves, not as dark, that pull you completely out of your direct aligned connection to God. And so, what we're doing here on the planet, you and I, is literally fighting our way back to God in any possible way that we can without consciously realizing that that's what we're doing. We don't realize that we are crawling, like dragging ourselves back to God. We don't realize that simply wanting to be successful and make a lot of money and have all kinds of followers and be famous or whatever it is has a real high potential to pull us from God. It's not to say that those things aren't okay and aren't good, right? And don't have a purpose in life. But if it is first before God, we want to start to look at that. What is first in our lens? These behaviors, these desires, or God? And the whole world right now is consumed by all of this. And when we start, I'm going to do a really profound class, 5 or 6 week class on really understanding our ancient history when we were in 5D and how we fell to 3D. It is so, so important to understand what happened back then because we're doing the inverted now. We're doing the opposite. We're going from 3D to 5D, right? So we're trying to now get out of the behaviors that we initially were not in and went down into. So what we're doing now is trying to wake up out of these very subtle and very seductive behaviors that convince you that you're not okay. They convince you that you're not healthy. They convince you that you shouldn't speak your truth. They convince you that you're going to be in lack for the rest of your life. They convince you that your relationship isn't good and that you need to break up or that you need to divorce your husband. They convince you. These energies that have been taking over the planet, they're in your mind. They're in your thoughts. They make you think it's you. And you beat yourself up. And then we find ourselves in these really uncomfortable states and we're trying to constantly find a way out. Of course we are. And so we're looking outside for anything that can help us out of this prison that we find ourselves in, which is created by these demonic energies. And so, what we're learning, what we're going to start to learn, what I'm going to just put my life into teaching us is how to break free from these chains that are so subtle that we can barely even realize that we're in them, some of us, right? And the simple, quick answer is go to God. Truly go to God. And how obnoxious that is for a lot of people, how annoying that is, how triggered people get. People get very triggered when you say God. Now, again, if you go back to what I said in the very beginning of our conversation, when I was saying pay attention to the knee jerk reaction that people have when you say certain things, God is one of them. Why is there a knee jerk reaction that it's not good to say God, but I can say universe? It's not good to say God, but I can say source. What is that? I know what it is. I know the answer. Okay. It's a deep program from religion, but I just pay attention to that because I don't think that there is anything more profoundly powerful and potent in your life right now than a direct line and connection and communication with God. Nothing. You and God, source, creator, the light. It's also the hardest connection to build up again. Millions of years ago, when humanity was in a much higher vibration, when they were of much more advanced civilization, they were divinely aligned and connected to God, which activated the godlike ways within them. And then as they slowly began to participate in these other ways of being, these other states of being, like control, a little bit of greed, right? They started playing in these things because it felt good. Huh, control kind of feels good, you know? Um, Hold on one second. Um, these energies start kind of feel good. Like, huh, I'm gonna start playing in these a little bit, right? Um, and as you start playing in them, they feed you. You're like, ah, this feels really good. And the next thing you know, you're paying more attention to these other things instead of God, right? And you slowly but surely, humanity gets pulled out of that connection with God, and they slowly get pulled into these like the physical world. And it's a slow process. So what's happening now on the planet is the opposite. We're completely disconnected from God for the most part, right? Most of us. We have an understanding perhaps of God. Um Maybe we pray or talk to God, but our actual like intimate connection with God, it's not the way it used to be. And so as we start recognizing what's happening on the planet, what's pulling us, the distractions, the technology, all of this stuff, it's like, wait a second. The fact that we're constantly trying to fix ourselves, heal ourselves, get rid of all of this stuff. And the more you do it, the more you're like, huh, it's not going away. It just keeps piling on just in different ways. It just has different costumes. Um, if you're not noticing that, start noticing it. Like, wow, I could be healing myself for the rest of my life. Is this there's some do I want to do this? Isn't there another way? There's got to be something else happening, right? And so when you start to sort of peel all of this back and look at what is motivating us, what's pulling us, where's our focus at? We start to clear out. We start to let go of some of the things that are pulling us from just a very simple aligned connection with God. So Jesus has been showing me all this, right? And I've been like, holy Moses, like this is making so much sense. This is really making so much sense. And um I want to look at my I want to share something with you guys. Can I share something with you guys? Um I got to go share something with you guys. Hold on. Well, you gotta be attention, Alicia, to expectation. Okay, so and I don't know if you took my 40-day class, Alicia, but take the 40-day class when I offer it next time. Because one of the things that we really looked at is our expectation of God, right? So um, we think that when we start to connecting and talking to God, like it's going to happen, like, okay, um, you're going to answer me. My prayers are going to be answered. I'm gonna have relief. You're gonna take this from me. You're gonna heal this or that. And working with God or connecting with God is very different than our expectation of it. And just because you don't get the answer you want or the reprieve that you want or the clarity that you want, it's not because um, God didn't want to answer or there is no God or you're bad or wrong or any of that. It's just learning how to build um, converse, communication, conversation, connection, intimacy, a relationship. And so you kind of have to let go of the expectation or attachment to how it should go, and just settle into, wow, if I just call God in, God's right here. And just letting the fact that God's right here be enough, right? Starting to breathe God through your body. God work through me. Um, and not just going to God because life's really tough and you need God to help you out, right? But more about slowly starting to build a relationship with God daily without this like, oh, well, if I do that, then God's got to be doing dot dot dot. We're going to be very disappointed if we do that, but we're also going to be, if we keep committing to connecting, we'll be in awe. We'll be in absolute awe of what happens. Truly. It's mind-blowing, Alicia, what can happen when you let go of this idea that something needs to happen and you imagine every day God's knocking on your front door, okay? God's knocking, and you decide to open it one day. And then you open the door and you just start blaring out. You just start, thank you, Rory. You just start saying all the things that are happening. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. And God's just kind of overwhelmed, like, whoa, slow down, slow down. Let's go one thing at a time, right? I need you to just keep opening the door. I'm going to start working with you. I'm going to start showing you how this works. But we gotta build a relationship here, okay? So every day, Alicia, I want you to imagine God's knocking on your door. Do you answer? Are you answering the door? Are you saying, God, come in today? God, come into my life today. God, be with me today. Right? You want to start doing that. Um, and let that start to wow you. Let that start to shift you. God, show me. Show me. Um, it's going to be, it's It's all God wants, Alicia. It's all God wants. Okay, you guys, really quickly, I have to go soon, but I want to share some. I want to share just one. Thank you for that super chat, channeling divine. I think good. Let me know every day. Just open the door to God. That's all you got to do. God, I'm opening the door to you. Just hang out with me today. God, sit with me today. God, work through my body today. God, I want to breathe your living waters today. I want to breathe you through me. Every breath I take is God's breath. Every sound I make is God's sound. Every word I use is God's word. Everything I see is how God sees it. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much, you guys. And so start doing that. God's working through me. God's breathing through me. God's talking through me. God's seeing through me. Try that. This is what we do. Okay, God, life is horrible right now. I need you to come in. I'm praying. Heal me. Help me. We go to Him at like the worst times of our life. He's like, listen, no, chill out. Bring me in every day and I'll change your entire life. Um, okay, so really quickly, just one mind blowing thing that happened to me that I want to share with you guys, and then I got to go this past month with Jesus. Um, God, I swear, you guys, I feel like I could talk about this for like hours and hours and hours and hours. Um, but stay tuned. Really quickly. So once Jesus came in on the 5th, there's a couple things he shared with me. One is that he encouraged me to do a 21-day fast. He didn't encourage me. He said, do a 21-day fast. And I was like, I don't think you understand who I am. I love food. I don't like to be hungry. I don't do fasts. Like I've done a water fast for 3 days and I practically died. And it wasn't an option. It was like a 21-day fast. And he said to me, I need to clear out your body. He said to me, we're going to write together. You're going to share information. And if you're not clean and clear, I will not come through. So this is the other thing about Jesus. Jesus is very stern, very funny, very peaceful, very loving, but also very stern, like very direct. Like there's no BS. And so it was like, if you don't do this, I won't come through. And what he means is that if and when I decide to sit and write what's coming next, If I don't have the clearest aligned body, it will be distorted information, which is what happens to a lot of us. Unfortunately, when we bring information through, it's distorted by our own ego, it's distorted by our own beliefs, it's distorted. Still great information, but it has a distortion to it. Jesus will not move through me and speak through me or work through me if I am not completely clean and clear. And so anywho, he recommended that. And so that's what I'm doing after my trip. So I leave tomorrow to go on my trip, and then I'm going to go and do a 21-day fast, which I'm excited to share with you guys. Perhaps part of it, some of it, if I'm capable of doing communicating. I will be doing Untangled. Okay, really quickly, let me go. I got to go get something. Hold on. Okay, you guys. This is just one of the many little examples I have of like just being blown away. Um, so one night, I gotta find where this is. One night, I was going down a rabbit hole of satanic rituals, Luciferian families, um, and blood sacrifice, human sacrifice, pretty dark stuff. By the way, I never do this. I have no desire to. I do not I don't wanna know. I know this stuff exists. I know that it's out there. I've known that it's out there for a very long time, since I was, like, 13. Very aware of all of this stuff. I just never really wanted to dissect it or learn about it, right? Um, but because I've been in this training this past month with Jesus, he's been showing me a lot, like, he really wants me to understand the darkness on this planet. He needs me to understand it so I can connect it all. So he show so I'm going down this I'm watching these insane mind-blowing podcasts of these people being interviewed. And and also what's happening in Hollywood and all of that, we all know, right? And just interviews of people that have gone to these parties, and the way that the parties are put together, they're all about the 7 deadly sins. I don't know if you guys know that, but there are specific rooms in these parties, and these rooms are themed, and in each room is a 7 deadly sin. So one room is lust, one room is greed, one room is gluttony, um, one room is pride. It's insane, right? So here I am going down this rabbit hole of all this stuff, putting all these things together. I'm like, "Oh my god." They're like throwing it in our faces. Okay, so I'm like not good one night. I'm like, "This is so dark, Jesus." Like I don't this is dark. And he says, "Go in your room, take your Bible and read the Bible." I said, "Okay." So I literally just sat in my bed and I opened up the Bible to the very first page that I saw. I've never read Proverbs ever. And this is legit the first 2 paragraphs that I read. Okay, now remember, I just gone through all of that crazy stuff. Just watched all that dark, sadistic, Satanist, ritual, yuck, killing of people, all of that, right? This is what it says. Okay, this is crazy. This is in Proverbs, the Old Testament. Okay. They may say, "Come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone. Just for him, let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive like the graves. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of the great things we'll get. We'll fill our houses with all the stuff we take. Come, throw in your lot with us. We'll all share the loot." And this is what God says to this: "My child, don't go along with them. Stay far away from their paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. But these people set an ambush for themselves. They're trying to get themselves killed. Such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. So there's literally, I don't know, in my Bible here, there's 1,500, 1,600, no, 2,200 pages. 2,200 pages in my Bible. I turn to the one page that talks legit about what I just saw, what I was just watching. And this is an example of these tiny little moments I get where I know Jesus is like, go here, go here, go here, go here, listen to this, listen to that. Because what he was showing me was the connection between parts of what the Bible says and what's happening on the planet right now. What God's been trying to get us to recognize and what we're actually seeing right now. And here's the thing about all this, we can't actually see it, right? A lot of us won't ever see this darkness. Thank goodness. And we don't need to. You don't need to go down these rabbit holes. But what is extremely important to understand is what is driving your suffering right now. What's driving the suffering in your minds? It's not you. Okay? It is energies that have been on the planet for thousands of years that have controlled us. And so, what is a solution for you right now? What can you do today? My encouragement for you for today is to recognize that everything that takes you down the rabbit hole of, I'm not good enough, this is painful, I'm in suffering, I'm in depression, I'm in lack, all of these things, I want you to recognize is a type of prison. And when you're here, you're not connected to God. When you're thinking about these things, when you're stressed, when you're worried, when you're in fear, when you're in lack, when you're in jealousy, when you're in greed, whatever you're in, and it's not your fault. I want you to understand this. This is not your fault. This is the human condition. When you're thinking these things, when the thoughts go cuckoo, when that state of just, ugh, I don't know what to do. I don't like this. This isn't me. I want you to recognize you're in a prison separated from God. And I just want you to think to yourself, what would it be like if I invited God in right now? What would happen even if I just said, God, come in? I don't really believe that there's a God. I don't know if there is a God. I think I'm God inside of me. So I'm going to try to bring God from within me. Just invite God in. Just start there. God, come in. God, sit with me. God, be with me. God bring God bring peace to my suffering. God bring peace to my thoughts. God bring peace to my pain. God bring peace to my depression. God bring peace to my lack. You see what the human condition has done is I or somebody a professional has tried to fix me. I have issues. I have trauma. I have attachment disorders. I have this. I have that. I've got to heal my ancestral trauma. I've got to there there's a time and a place for that, but where we are right now on the planet, that's not gonna work anymore. We're gonna start noticing that's not working anymore. We'll start to notice this. If we heal one thing, then there's another thing, there's another thing. This is the loop that these energies wanna keep us in because it's a disconnection. It's a focusing on what's wrong with me, a focusing on fixing me, a focusing on healing me instead of just saying, "Stop. There's nothing wrong with you. You've been infiltrated with energies your entire life. Your family's been infiltrated with energies. Their family's been infiltrated with energies. They've done traumas to you. You're doing traumas to somebody else. Who it's just going to keep going. Go to God. That's how we break this and shift into a completely different timeline. What is God? I don't know. Never felt it. I don't understand. But I'm just gonna ask God to come in and bring some peace into my life today. What does that feel like? What does that look like? What if? Why not? You've done everything else. You'll go to all these other healers and practitioners and everything else, but we can't just say, God, come in. And if you're like Alicia, which most of us are, which is, I've gone, nothing happened, keep going. Keep asking. Keep inviting God in. Bring peace to my mind today, God. Start becoming aware that the restriction you feel in your body, the tightness, the confusion, the disorientation, the fears, jealousy, anger, rage, um, all of it. It's the infiltration of energies that have been on the planet for thousands of years that are pulling you from God, which is your calm, safety, peace, grace, ease, alignment, connection. Holy cow. In the midst, my friends, of all the chaos, of all the darkness, of all of it, then you start to really build your armor of God on you, and you can stand in anything, and you can reflect back to everybody else, God. You start being more God-like. Not because you've healed yourself, but because you began to align and connect with God. And in that aligned connection with God, that in and of itself changes you. Sometimes immediately, sometimes over time. This is the spiritual battle. This is the next phase of our evolution, and it is connected to what happened millions of years ago. It's connected to what happened 5,000 years ago. It's connected to the families that run this planet. It's connected to Jesus and his connection to God. It's connected to the sinful behaviors that I call those 7 deadly sins that are literally running this planet. It's connected to the torture that you have in your mind. It's connected to technology and AI. Everything is all intertwined and connected in this evolution in human consciousness. It has this divine, beautiful layout, and you're now opening yourself up to a new level of this evolution. And it's like mind blowing. Here we go. Are you telling me it's as simple as coming back into alignment with God? Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Yasmin, so much. It's only gonna get better, you guys, and you're gonna freaking find yourself. Alicia, I don't know you. I don't know where you live. I don't know if you are on Untangled all the time or not, but my girl, come back in a couple of weeks and let us know what happened to you. You're daily opening the door to God. I want you to let us know in a couple of weeks what happened with you. Because if you open the door to God every single day, it is impossible for things to not shift in your world. Impossible. The things that you have been trying to fix and heal and la 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 la, watch. And this is not a bypassing, my friend. Oh no, this is coming back into alignment with who you are. This is coming back into alignment into your natural state of being. We've spoken. Okay, are you in my community? Are you in our SOAR community? I feel like you are. Okay, you guys. Oh, we have so much to dive into. We have so much to dissect. We have so much to talk about. Stay tuned. I'll see you next Tuesday. I believe I will be in Italy. And then I'll be on my way to the next couple of untangled. I'll be in my cleanse. I knew it. I knew it. I know you. I know you. I know you, Alicia. Um, I'll be in my cleanse. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's get empowered. Like the more knowledge we have, the more we understand what's happening, the more we can connect the dots, the more we can be like, oh, heck no, you are not going to control me anymore. The power, if we start recognizing the power of God, it's like, oh, get out of my way. Get out of my way. Nothing has power over you when you are divinely connected to God, when you have this armor on, when you know that God's got your back. The universe doesn't have your back. God's got your back. God has your back. The light of everything, the creator of it all, the beginning and the end, the source of everything has your back. It wants you to expand in your capacity to be able to be so much more. It's about to get so good. It's about to get so good. I love you guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Pass this video on to people. Pass it on. YouTube is not letting my stuff get out. So pass it on. I love you guys. I'll see you next Tuesday.